First and foremost, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, Bashim Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Much peace, love, and salutations to the hopefully elect out there to keep confusion of face, brethren, join them to our ranks. And to you, Akwathium, you sisters out there that's listening and learning in truth and sincerity. To you, I say Shalom. Brother Azariah here from the Pittsburgh GMS camp, and just sharing a dream, much like Apostle Tahar, his wife, that he's talked about in this video. He says his wife has dreams sometimes. So well, my wife has dreams as well, and she's had a dream not long ago that I just want to share with you brothers. So you know, just get to the overall generalities of the dream. You know, she had a dream about a memorial. It was like a it was like a memorial. It was almost like a display, a chronology. It was like a chronology. Let's get that word. Chronology. It's an arrangement of events or dates in order of their occurrence. You know, a document displaying an arrangement of events in order of their occurrence. So it basically was a chronology. You know, chronos meaning time, logia, logi. Anyway, so it was like a laid out timeline basically in her dream. So she saw this beautiful like tombstone, right? And there was a couple of tombstones. They were like floating, you know. They were chiseled in stone, a very intricate, beautiful design. The first one says she is dead, you know. And I was just wondering, like, okay, what does that mean, you know? So the first one says she is dead, you know, and then there was like a period of time in between. She couldn't really explain exactly what it was, but it was like a period of time passed, and then she would see another stone, like a stone tombstone or tablet, floating in the air. They were all lined up. It was about, let's see, 1, 2, 3, it was about 5 of them. So the next one she saw had the Mayflower on it, and there were 3 other ships on it, and she was like wondering what that meant, you know. And I had an idea. The spirit was, the Wadi Yahweh Yahweh Shai, the spirit was working with me to be able to perceive what she was talking about, you know. And then she said that there were more tablets. There was one that was blank, and she was kind of fuzzy. So I asked her, like, okay, let me guess, there were 3 more tablets. 2 of them were written on, and 1 of them was blank. And she was like, yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I saw. So I just want to kind of share the interpretation of this dream with you brothers. So the first tablet that says she is dead or she has died represents when Esau's system was taken down. You know, let's see here. Let me get the scripture. Revelation 13:3. And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast, you know. And so that wound, that head that was wounded to death was Rome, you know. When Rome went down, when Rome left out of power, and Jakes began to rule in that region, you know. Starting with what? Who was it? Septimius. Well, before Septimius Severus, there was someone named Niger. Not in the Bible. Pescennius Niger, you know. And then after him it was Septimius Severus, you know. So this was when Jake started to rule over there in Europe, you know. Started with Niger, and then it went to Septimius Severus, you know. All right, and so that's what the first tombstone represented. She has died was when the downfall of Esau's system in that Roman Empire, when they were taken out of power and Jake began to rule, you know, which is where you get the Russian icons and, you know, different things of that nature. And let's just pull some of those up. I already got the window open, so I'm just gonna pull it into view real quick. You know, that's where you get these different icons from, you know. These Russian icons, you know, this is depicting Israelite ruling, you know, and us knowing our heritage and knowing that these biblical stories were us, you know, that these were not so-called white people in these stories, you know. I believe this represents Michael the Archangel, you know, fully equipped with froze and all that. And then you get also these statues, you know, Edith of England and Otto the First, Holy Roman Emperor. See, you know, Saint Maurice, patron saint of the Holy Roman Empire in Magdeburg, Germany. You know, so this is where you get these different things, you know, because we began to rule. That's why they call it the Dark Ages. You know, they're not proud of this particular segment of history, so they don't share it, you know. But we definitely and clearly were in rulership, you know. The Dark Ages. These so-called white people being ruled by, you know, so-called blacks. Saint Andrew, you know, and the evidence goes on and on, you know. Cletus, Melis, Niger, or Niger, or Nigger, however you want to pronounce it. So anyway, you know, this is not what the lesson is about. Like I said, I'm just sharing some of this stuff with you to show you that, you know, this is true. So anyway, when the Rome fell, that was when the beast was wounded. That was when it had a deadly wound, as if it was dead, and it went down, you know. So after that, you know, she saw the Mayflower and 3 other ships, and I knew instantly that those 3 other ships, of course, we know the Mayflower was when the Pilgrims came, but before they came, what were the 3 other ships? They teach every Israelite child, at least from my generation, they might be trying to remove this particular section from the textbooks now, but what were those ships? They were the Nina, Pinta, and Santa Maria. You know, in 1492 he sailed the ocean blue. That's what they tell you, right? Well, this represents the rebirth. You know, this is why the next tablet showed these ships, because this represented the rebirth, you know, of Esau's system when they came over to dominate Jacob once again. You know, this was them putting us back into captivity, because we know the 2 main players in this story are Jacob and Esau, you know. So this represented the rebirth of their rulership, of having Jacob back in captivity when they first came over, you know. And this was also during the time of the time period called the Renaissance, you know. Set sail in 1492 and discovered, quote unquote, discovered the New World, because they already knew it existed. You know, they used our records to find this place, you know. So they had the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria. You know, and these are the ships that were, you know, told about. You know, that's what I learned in school. So that's, you know, that's what those 3 ships represented out of her dream, you know. And so you know, it just made sense. All right, so I guess I'll touch on the other 2 tablets, you know. So she didn't quite know what the other tablets were, but through the Spirit, the Most High allowed me to understand that those other 2 tablets also, actually, I just want to prove before I close all this, that this does represent the period of the Renaissance. You know, the first ruler of the Renaissance was King Henry. In 1509, 1547, he was the first true king, and Queen Elizabeth the first, 1558 and 1603. So we know that, well, it says here King Henry the 8th was in 1491 to 1547, and we know that in 1492 is when Columbus sailed the ocean blue. You know, so that's just, you know, letting you know this is during the time of the Renaissance. You know, this really represented the rebirth of that system, you know, which is why it was the next tablet that she saw in her dream. The role of the popes in Renaissance, I don't really care about all that. When you go here, it talks about Also, Elder Malcolm out there in Chicago brought up how in the Borgias in the series The Borgias, I think it's a Netflix series, it shows you that the Borgias commission, were around when Christopher Columbus was commissioned, and this was the beginning of the Renaissance. Rodrigo Borgia, who was elected to papacy in 1492 after the death of the generally unnoteworthy Innocent VIII, who assumed the name Pope Alexander VI. Borgia, a Spaniard, had been at the center of Vatican affairs 30 years as a cardinal. And he talked about his different children. His oldest son, Cesare Borgia, was a murderer and killed many of his political opponents. And he made Cesare into an icon. And what was that thing I just closed not too long ago? One more I want to see, because Leonardo da Vinci, and he was around in 1452. When Cesare Borgia died, Leonardo da Vinci was one of the artists commissioned to paint a likeness of Caesar Borgia, and I think the other one, I forget who the other guy was, but anyway, they were commissioned to paint a very beautiful likeness of him, and later on he became known as what you call Jesus today. Who that image is not according to the scriptures. That's a false image. And his name is not Jesus either. His name is Yahushua. That's the true Son of the Most High. Not that picture of Rodrigo Borgia's son, Cesare Borgia. That's not the Messiah. But anyway, like I said, I didn't want to stick too long on this part. Just showing you, that this indeed was around the time of the Renaissance that all this stuff happened. The Pope at the beginning of the Renaissance. That's what I looked at. I looked up that, but this basically goes into the Pope, the papacy, and around the time, 1492, like I said again, is when Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue. So anyway, I'm going to move forward. So those other 3 tablets that she wasn't quite sure of what they represent the 3 world wars. There's 2 world wars that have already occurred, and the 3rd world war is coming. All right, Revelation 8 and 13. And I beheld and heard an angel flying through the midst of heaven, saying with a loud voice, Woe, woe, woe to the inhabitants of the earth, by reason of the other voices of the trumpet of the 3 angels, which are yet to sound. And so when we go to the blue letter, I've never looked at the blue letter for this world, but I'm pretty sure this word is destruction. Revelation 8 and 13. This represents the world wars. I'm gonna get a precept to back that up as well. Whoa. Let's get it, because I know there's more to it. Brief woe. Woe means destruction. There's 4 unique forms. But woe to them that are with child in those days. Woe unto you that are rich, for ye have received your consolation. Well, this means destruction, man. Destruction, peril. Woe unto you, Pharisees. We know that the wicked are going to be destroyed. This represents woe. And also, I'm going to get the precept. And that woe represents destruction, man. Let's just get a normal definition. Great sorrow or distress. So there's destruction. But let's get the precept. Revelation 9. And 12. One woe is past, and behold, there come 2 woes more hereafter. So why does it say one woe is past? One destruction is past, okay? And behold, there come 2 woes hereafter. And the first woe it was talking about here, Revelation 9. All right, Revelation 9, and I'm gonna start at 1. And the 5th angel sounded, and I saw a star fall from heaven unto the earth, and to him was given the key of the bottomless pit. And he opened the bottomless pit, and there arose a smoke. So that angel with the key is Yahushua. And he opened the bottomless pit, which represents Europe. And there arose a smoke out of the pit as the smoke of a great furnace. And the sun and the air were darkened by reason of the smoke of the pit. And there came out of the smoke locusts upon the earth, and unto them was given power, as the scorpions of the earth have power. So this represents World War I, when the Germans had their fighter planes. Their fighter planes, if you looked at them, they looked like locusts flying upon the earth. And unto them was given power, as the scorpions of the earth have power. And that represents the fighter guns that were positioned at the back of the planes. Because scorpions have their stings in their tail. If you get shot with a bullet, it stings like, if you stings like you got stung with a scorpion. It's a stinging feeling that you get from getting shot with a bullet. And it was commanded them that they should not hurt the grass of the earth, neither any green thing nor any tree, but only those men which have not the seal of the power of the Most High in their foreheads, And to them it was given that they should not kill them, but that they should be tormented 5 months. And their torment was as the torment of a scorpion when he striketh a man, And in those days men shall seek death and shall not find it, and shall desire to die, and death shall flee from them. Because during the time of World War I, our medical systems were not up to par. And so if you got shot by these bullets and you didn't die, you would be left horribly deformed, or left with some type of pain, or men desired to death from how deformed they were. They desired to die, And so this is what this is talking about. And they had hair as the hair of women, and their teeth were as the teeth of lions. So when you talk about the hair of women, that's looking at their helmets that they wore. Let's get it. So there are pictures of Kaiser Wilhelm, not with the eagle on his head. The Germans had these particular helmets that they wore. Here we go. I think this is one of them. Where down the back of it, it looked like hair. Yeah, right here. See? Looked like hair. But when it says their hair was as the hair of women, you kind of see where he got it from. These helmets. All right, so let's just move on. Whoever can receive it can receive it. And their teeth were as the teeth of lions, and they had breastplates as the breastplates of iron, and their sounds was as the sound of chariots, of many horses riding to battle. The sound of their wings. That's going back to the planes again. And they had tails like unto scorpions, them guns mounted on the back of the ships, on the back of the planes. And there were stings in their tails, and their power was to hurt men 5 months, which is just a duration of time. All right, and they had the king over them, which is the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name in the Hebrew tongue is Abaddon, but in the Greek tongue hath his name Apollyon, which means destroyer. And that king is Kaiser Wilhelm, because Germans were the strongest that ascended out of Europe, the king of the bottomless pit. One war is past, and behold, there come 2 wars more hereafter. And that was just the first World War. And we know World War II is already past. So those 2 tablets in her dream that were written on were World War I and World War II. And that third tablet, which was blank, is World War III, and it's on the way. So another thing that she saw was that there was a statue that kind of looked like the spiritual demon Satan, and it was jumping between these different time periods, moving around very sporadically. You know what I'm saying? I'm using big words, but let me just define it. Occasionally or at irregular intervals. So it was moving around. It was moving around. It was real busy. You know what I'm saying? Like jumping between these different time periods, the wars, the ships. It was just bouncing back and forth really fast. You know what I'm saying? And as the scripture came to mind, this. Revelation 12:12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth, war, destruction to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. So, you know, basically like Christians like to say, the devil is busy. You know, he was bouncing back and forth between these different tablets, you know, these different time periods. You know, he was being very busy. You know, he was moving very fast back and forth between these different time periods, because he's hastening this war. You know, he's coming down with great wrath. Let's see here. You know, he's going back and forth up and down in the earth. 1 Peter 5:8, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. So that's what he's doing. He's going back and forth, seeking who he may devour, seeking who he can seal off to be wicked, seal off for destruction, because he know he have a short time, you know. So yeah, you know, that was basically it for her dream. You know, just the devil's busy and he's hastening the day, and with the way prophecy is kicking off, you know, I just did a video on all these people, and the brothers stay bringing out the prophecy, you know, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. You know what I'm saying? Hey, people is dropping $1, you know, ain't destruction to coming to this place, man, you know. So yeah, I just want to share that, you know, hopefully it was edifying. You know what I'm saying? I want to say all honor, glory, and praise is called halal to Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Rakar Kadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, the great millstone. Much love to you, hopefully elect out there, and you Aqua, you sisters just listening in sincerity and truth. To you, I say shalom.